Bank, or Marino, who cleaned his lake by inventing his own solution that cleans water. They have the world's hottest river. It's so hot you can fry an egg on it. From its people to its nature to its traditions, Peru will blow your mind. There is a town in Italy that will give you $30,000 just to open a business there. I kid you not.
Hi, Nice Daily. Welcome to Calabria.
This part of Italy has everything. Beautiful mountains, beaches, villages, but it doesn't have a lot of jobs.
Hanno necessità di avere concretezza e possibilità lavorative diverse che spesso il nostro territorio non riesce ad offrire.
That's why many young people left this town looking for other opportunities, leaving only old people behind. So the local government decided to pay young entrepreneurs from around the world $30,000 to come start their businesses right here and create jobs for everyone. So if you're under 40 years old and looking for something crazy to do, check this town in Italy and thank me later. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This is the scariest motel in the United States. It is filled with clowns everywhere, but somehow people come here to sleep. It was created by these guys. When they were young, they went to see a circus show in India and fell in love with scary clowns. And now, decades later, they turned clowns into a business. They bought an abandoned motel and made it even scarier. Paintings, postcards, statues. Here, everything is clown. Then, rumors started to spread about ghosts staying in the motel. And the whole world started to come to stay the night here. For these two, this place is much more than a horror show. It is proof that anybody can make a living out of their crazy passions. So if you're feeling brave enough, then rent a room at the Clown Motel. You will not sleep much, but you'll probably make some friends. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Estonia, there is an island that is entirely run by women. Here, the women do all the work, from cooking to leading to farming to running businesses. Why? You see, for years, the men of the island had to go on long fishing journeys in order to make money, leaving the women behind to take care of everything. And they did take care of everything. But when globalization hit the island, the men lost their jobs and the women became the only businessmen. Or as we should say, business women. That is how this island now is run by women. Estonia shows us that women can do just as good as men, if not better. So the next time you feel like you cannot do something because it's a man's job or a woman's job, remember the island of women in Estonia. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Turkey, there is a village where people don't talk, they whistle. Turns out, whistling can also be a language where every sound means something. To understand it, you need to train your ears and train your mouth. But why whistle in this village? See, the houses here are very far from each other. So before technology, when they wanted to talk, they had to scream, and over time, they realized it's just easier to whistle. But now people use WhatsApp to talk. That's why the language could die, and this village is trying to preserve it. They created an app just to teach the whistle language, so kids can continue this tradition for hundreds of years to come. Visit this village in Turkey. Trust me, you won't regret it. That's 1 minute! This woman can cook and win a master chef even if she is blind.
Hi Nos Daily, I'm Christine Ha and I won MasterChef in 2012.
She fell in love with cooking when she was young, but around the age of 20, she started to lose her vision and she got worried that her dreams are dead. But instead of giving up, she decided to relearn how to walk, read, and cook without seeing. Now, she's able to make dishes like these. And one day, she took part of a cooking cooking competition. And guess what? She won. She won against people who could see. Her lack of vision made her cooking better tasting than anyone else. Christine won MasterChef, opened 2 restaurants, wrote a cooking book, all because she didn't let her blindness stop her. Now that is impressive. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Be careful of the name trap. Imagine if somebody calls you by a name that's not yours. You will feel angry and insulted. Now imagine if you are an entire country. When the British came to Kenya, they couldn't pronounce Kirinyaga, so they named it Kenya. When Marco Polo found Madagascar, he thought it was Mogadishu, Somalia, and misspelled it to Madagascar. When Columbus reached the United States, he thought he was in India, so he named the natives Indians. But now, people and countries are taking a stand. Places like Bombay and Ceylon are going back to their native names. And now, I also ask my friends to call me by my real name, Nosire, instead of Nas. This is a big deal because nothing is more powerful than being able to control your name. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Did you know that this food, and this food are all made of pork? Yeah, pork is hiding in everything we eat.
Probably gelatin. Gelatin is made from animals' hooves, so it's the feet of pigs.
And it's not just pork. If you're a vegetarian like me, you'll be surprised to know that you're still eating meat, because food like potato chips, salad dressings, gummy bears, marshmallows all have E631 in them, which is a food additive made from chicken. But you'll never know that from the name E631. This is not just a vegetarian problem. There are people who are allergic to certain food items and could die if they eat the wrong thing, like peanuts. It is time for food companies to get rid of the labels and tell us what's inside our food, because there is nothing more important than knowing what we put in our body. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In the frozen lands of Siberia, there is an 80-year-old grandma who skates on the ice.
Привет, Nas Daily.
When she was growing up, she was living near a frozen lake. So to get anywhere, she had to skate, and she loved it. But as she grew older, she had to move to the city. And in the city, she hated it, up until she was 80 years old. That's when she decided to go back to her childhood life, move back to the village, buy some dogs and a farm near the lakes. Here she found happiness by skating every day. It is so simple. In a world where we are obsessed, like I am, with cities and lights, let's look at this grandma who found joy in the simplest things in life. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Mexico, I found a guy who makes salt with his feet.
Hola, Nas Daily. Soy Juan.
He is one of the last producers of natural salt in the world. His family has been doing it for hundreds of years. Back in the day, salt was very precious and rare. So salt makers made a lot of money by producing it. But now, big companies can make salt very cheap, so people like Juan barely make any money. His job is disappearing, but that doesn't bother him. He will keep producing 100% natural salt with his feet and maintain his family's tradition just because he loves it. Let's move away from processed food and go to organic food and support people like Juan so that he too can make money from doing what he loves. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Why is this teacher building a school desk for his students?
Hi, Nas Daily. I'm Nate Evans.
During the pandemic, Nate's students had to learn from home on Zoom. And he noticed that many of them were taking notes from the floor, from the bed, but not from a desk. We all know kids can learn better with a desk, so Nate decided to build them. He built and delivered one desk to each of his students, even when his money ran out, even when he was diagnosed with a tumor in his arm, he kept making them because he knew that a simple desk could change a kid's education. With the help of 500 volunteers, he's now making over 2,000 desks. Nate is just a teacher who could have ignored the kids' problems, but he didn't. Teachers like him are the reason humanity is beautiful. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Do you know about the gossip game? It is when you whisper a message to a friend, "My girlfriend and I are having problems," who then tells it to another friend. By the time it reaches the end of the line, the message changes completely and people start spreading fake news.
Oh my gosh, your girlfriend cheated on you?
It happens everywhere. At home, traditions are passed from one generation to another verbally. But with each passing generation, things get distorted. So our grandparents might not have said exactly what we think they said. We cannot live our lives based on gossip or based on 2,000-year-old words, because more often than not, the original words have changed. And the closer we get to the original source, the closer we get to the truth. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy remembers everything, like literally everything. Meet Bob. If you give him a date from the past 50 years, he will tell you what he did, what clothes he wore, how he felt, and even what the weather was like.
The first time I voted was 1972. It was November 7th. And I voted for George McGovern.
He's like the Google search of memories. Doctors have studied him for many years to figure out why his memory is so good. The thing is, Bob also remembers the bad memories.
Like a breakup, for example, I immediately go back to a similar experience in the past, and I'm reliving it twice as hard as most other people.
This made me realize it's nice to have a good memory, but it's also nice to have a bad memory. Because in life, there are some things you just want to forget. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This is a true story about a guy who sent a spacecraft to the moon. Meet Yariv, an electrical engineer from Israel. One day, he had an idea to send something to the moon. So, he went to Facebook and asked,
"Who wants to go to the moon?"
2 of his friends said yes, and together they started building a spacecraft. After many years and many failures, they finally built the spacecraft. And finally, on April 11th, 2019, their spacecraft got very close to the moon, took a historic selfie with the moon, then crashed on the surface. But this wasn't a failure. They got to the moon, and now they're trying again, and they want to land a spacecraft safely on the moon. These are the crazy people that actually change the world. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. I just love to fail. Let me explain. 9 years ago, I was a university student who wanted to build a company. So I started with a news website where I wrote about the latest news every day. I wrote for hundreds of days, but nobody was interested in my news. I failed, but I didn't quit. The next year, I launched an app that showed you news in just 1 minute, but nobody even downloaded it. I failed again, but I didn't quit. The next year, I started a clothing rental company for people who travel, but even that failed. I was starting to lose hope. But here is the thing, every failure teaches you a lesson, and that is how I ended up with Nas Daily, a 1-minute daily video travel channel, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar company. You see, failure is the best thing to happen to you right before success. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy built a solar car from trash. Meet Emmanuel. He lives in Sierra Leone, where cars emit a lot of pollution. He had many ideas to fix the problem, but no money. So instead, he used his imagination. He collected lots of trash, put together metal, cane sticks, old cables, wires, and after 3 years of work, the imagination car was born. It had everything from doors to brakes to headlights to even a horn. This car can go up to 15 kilometers an hour, and its only fuel is the sun. Emmanuel built the impossible with nothing but junk. He is proof that the solution to Africa's problems may not come from Europe or America, but from Africans themselves. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Singapore, I found a guy who can kill fire in 1 second. Meet Judah.
Hi, my name is Judah J, and I am the Fire Terminator.
Judah spent years studying fires and came up with this liquid that can stop fires from destroying things. You can pour it anywhere and it will protect any object even after the solution dries up. See, when Judah was a kid, he was burned by fire himself, and he had to spend 45 days in a hospital recovering from second-degree burns. But unlike most of us, he did not avoid fire, he studied it and got a PhD in fire management to become an expert in the very thing that tried to kill him. Thousands of scientists like Judah are working to save the planet from burning. And if they succeed, we all succeed. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy went for a morning run and came back with 7,000 pounds of trash. Meet Curtis.
Hi, I'm Curtis, and I've pulled over 7,000 pounds of trash out of the creek so far.
One day, Curtis was jogging near a creek when he saw something crazy. In the water, there were mattresses, old beds, carpets, and even Christmas trees. Years and years of piled up trash, all floating down the river and polluting the planet. So, he turned his morning runs into garbage pickups. And that's how he collected over 7,000 pounds of trash and convinced others to join him in the process. Run and clean.
Today is a pretty exciting day. It is our first group cleanup.
People like Curtis are the reason why our planet can be clean. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.